Hi, I'm Sarah from Ripple, and I'm going to be talking to you today about your savings rates. Before we start, it's really important to know what your electricity bill is made up of, because it's not just the electricity. So bills are generally split into electricity costs, so that's the actual cost of buying the electricity, and non-electricity costs. Now, non-electricity costs include things like grid charges, your supplier's operating costs, taxes and levies as well. The electricity part of your electricity bill is the wholesale cost of your electricity. Now, this is dictated by the wholesale electricity price multiplied by how much electricity you use. Ripple helps you reduce the electricity part of your electricity bill. Now, electricity from wind and solar parks are the cheapest electricity around in the UK. And effectively, what you do with Ripple is your supplier buys your electricity from your solar park or your wind farm at its low and stable operating costs instead of paying the wholesale market price for that power. The savings come straight off your electricity bill. This protects you from rising electricity prices for decades, in some cases for up to 40 years. So the saving rate is basically the difference between what your supplier would normally pay for electricity on the wholesale market and what they actually pay. So instead of buying it at the wholesale market price, they buy your electricity at the wind farm or solar park's operating cost. So that's around kind of 2p a kilowatt hour, whereas at the moment the market price for electricity is more like 7 or 8p a kilowatt hour. So that the difference between those two numbers is what effectively creates your saving rate. So that's around 2 or 3p per kilowatt hour operating cost of your wind farm or your solar park. That includes things like the operations and maintenance, the insurance, the business rates, and it also includes Ripple's management fee, which is about 0.2 pence a kilowatt hour, or around about £5.50 per customer per year. Now with Ripple, we obviously use the grid, you still pay grid charges and you still pay for your supplier's operating costs. So all the other elements of your electricity bill are exactly the same as if you were a Ripple member or whether you're not. So you still pay all the other bits of your elements of your electricity bill just like any other consumer does. So how do we set the saving rates? Well, we generally try and set them for a 12-month period, and generally we try and get them to start on the 1st of April. Now, early on in projects operations, this isn't always possible because projects start generating at different times, but we try and get them onto a cycle where they can all start on the 1st of April as soon as possible. So what factors can affect your saving rate? Well, the biggest factor by far is the wholesale electricity price, because it's a difference between that and the operating cost of your project, which is your saving rate. Now, this means that when wholesale prices are high, your saving rate will be higher, but probably your electricity bill will be higher too. When wholesale prices are lower, your savings will be lower because the difference between that wholesale price and the operating cost is smaller, but probably your electricity bill will be smaller too. Now, the net effect is that this helps stabilize your electricity bill, because when prices are high, your savings are higher. When prices are lower, your savings are lower as well. So it helps stabilize your bills for the long term. Now, there's likely to be some variation in savings rates between different suppliers, and the reason for that is that all suppliers have different views on the forward value of electricity. So here you can see examples from our two live projects, Great and Kirkhill, and you can see the dots show when we fixed electricity prices, and then the green squares are the period that they were fixed for. So you can see when we fix the price, that actually fixes that saving rate for 12 months generally. And then it doesn't matter what happens to the wholesale price over those 12 months, the saving rate is fixed. So I hope that has helped you understand how your saving rates get fixed and how they get applied to your electricity bill.